And city manager, I read on Newzjunky, oh my God, help us. We're going to spend $12,000 on a new search for the city manager, the mythical manager out there. First of all, let's get one thing clear. It's not going to work. It hasn't the last couple of times. I've been involved in these things. I know the difficulties. Look at the Ogdensburg experience. They ended up getting Andrea Smith in there, who was working for the city anyway. She'll do a great job. She should have been the one put in there in the beginning. But you have to have the search for the city. This goes back to the old days when you couldn't say anything bad about the city manager form of government. You couldn't up in Ogdensburg because Chuck Kelly had excoriate you, and you couldn't in Watertown because the Times would go after you. Those days are over. You got two choices. Either scrap the city manager form of government, put the mayor in charge, and have this Logan Eddy, the current assistant, he could be the administrative assistant, give him a raise, and get the whole thing done for less money. But unless because this city's, or all cities up here, they're not able to pay. I mean, to be a city manager, that's comparable to a school superintendent or a hospital administrator. You're not going to pay a hospital administrator wages to a Watertown city manager. You're not going to pay school superintendent wages to a city manager. So get rid of that post. Let the mayor do it. You can lowball the mayor, pay her a lot less, and put Logan. Otherwise, here's what's going to happen in the real world, because I know what's going to happen. The clock's going to be ticking. You know, what's today? October 13th, Friday the 13th. Oh! But clock's going to tick. They'll approve this appropriation, and they'll have to go out and hire somebody or call John Kroll again or whatever they're going to do. Poor John. You must say, leave me alone. Get an unlisted number, John, because they're going to call you again. But anyway, they're going to do that. They're going to get a headhunter or something. And they're going to go through this process, and the first of the year is going to come around, and Ken Mix is going to be out the door, and they're going to have somebody do it because the power structure says we can't allow that to be under the control of an elected official. No, not someone elected by the great unwashed. So they'll have to put somebody in as, quote, acting city manager, and that'll be Logan Eddy, who's the current administrative assistant right now. So that's what's going to happen. And then he's going to be in it for a while, and they'll say, well, he did a reasonably good job, and then they'll appoint him permanently. Now, there is no such thing as acting city manager. You either are or you aren't. But he'll be in there. And they're not going to hire a new one and risk him being fired at the whim of the new person. So he will become the city manager if they keep this form of government. That's what's going to happen. You can say, oh, no, we're going to have a national search. Yeah. And we're going to carefully screen the candidates. Remember that thing years ago where they were hiring I wasn't in office, and they had a soiree over at Watertown Savings Bank to introduce the candidates to the city, to parade them around like a pageant. That was the stupidest thing I ever saw. But, and you're allowing, there's people who are elected officials. They're not the smartest people in the world. I know I was one of them. And they shouldn't be allowed to do hiring at such an important position. That should be delegated to a blue ribbon panel. But in any event, that's just going to happen. Logan Eddy will be the city manager the first of the year. Period. I met him. I talked to him. I don't know him real well. But I know he's politically kind of savvy and, young man and all of that stuff. He's politically juiced, the right people. So somebody texted, what's my official prediction for the mayor's race? I don't think it'd be appropriate to make a prediction. Simply because I have to host a debate next week and other reasons too. Both candidates are campaigning, and go out and vote for them and see what happens. Or do a write-in if you want.